This was not a show about motivating you or always making you feel good. It was going to challenge you. We were going to inspire you and educate you. But one major thing we're going to do here is not just talk about shit. I am actually going to give you actionable steps to start implementing all of the things that you're learning here. So today's show is just that. It's Evie here. Welcome to EML Radio, where we are always talking truth. All of those things you need to hear that nobody else is willing to say. Hey guys, it's Evie. Welcome back to the next episode of EML Radio. Today's episode is short and sweet, but oh, so powerful, guys. So I promised you, this was not a show about motivating you or always making you feel good. It was going to challenge you. We were going to inspire you and educate you. But one major thing we're going to do here is not just talk about shit. I am actually going to give you actionable steps to start implementing all of the things that you're learning here. So today's show is just that. It is 3 quick, simple steps for you to start living your everyday life with more urgency. So you've probably already watched or listened to the episode on facing your own mortality and living with urgency. And from the feedback I've gotten, that really lit a fire under a lot of you. But we can't just stop there. We can't just acknowledge our mortality. We have to start implementing steps on a daily basis that aren't going to allow us to kind of slip and slide back into complacency, back into the mindset that we're going to live forever, right? We have to practice on a daily basis, striking up that urgency and striking up that discomfort so that we acknowledge every single day that our life is short. So you ready? Here they are. Number 1 is practice being aware and being present. You cannot change something that you aren't even aware exists. So no matter what you're trying to accomplish, and especially when it comes to living with some urgency, you have to start building awareness around who you are as a person, paying special attention to all of your God-given gifts, right? All of your shortcomings, and really getting to know who you really are and what makes you tick. Digging every single day on becoming aware of the person you are, and then acknowledging the person that you are trying to become. And in order to do that, in order to be aware, in order to develop self-awareness at an elite level, you have to start by being present. Stop allowing yourself to get distracted all day long. This world is just nothing but distraction and noise. And it is so easy to get caught up in that. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to start paying attention and being present, or being where your feet are. Be present with yourself when you are by yourself, and don't get distracted by all the crap on social media or keeping the news on or the television on 24 hours a day. When you are with yourself, be present within yourself. Pay attention to you. When you are with your family, your loved ones, your husband, your wife, or your children, be present with them. Put your phone down. Start paying attention to them and giving them 100% of your attention. And when you're with your friends and those people who are in the wider areas of your life, give them the attention they deserve. Be present with them. Stop being distracted. Get off your phone. Actually pay attention and listen. Okay? So awareness and being present. Being present, step number 1. Step number 2, be grateful. Now, I know so many of you are saying, Evie, I'm grateful for everything I have. Well, you may be, but are you acknowledging that gratitude on a daily basis? My personal practice in this area is during my 30-minute morning routine, I sit down and physically write out 3 things that I'm grateful for. And they don't have to be like earth-shattering things, guys. Some days I wake up and I'm simply just grateful for the smell of my coffee and the fact that I'm grateful enough to even notice those things that are the small gifts in my life. So you don't have to put some kind of like expectation on your gratitude. Just start by being aware of being grateful for the big things and the small things in your life. So I encourage you to do that in the morning. And then also before you go to bed every night, just a quick reminder, get quiet in your own head and give thanks for the day that you just had. Last, 3rd step, and this one is probably the biggest. Start getting uncomfortable. When we are complacent and just going through the motions of every day and always feel comfortable in our life day in and day out, we are not growing. Right? That's actually when we start taking our life for granted. Nothing's really bad, nothing's really great, don't have anything to complain about. And then before you know it, you have completely, once again, lost touch with that acknowledgement that your life is short, your life is fleeting, and you need to live it urgently. You gotta think about areas where you can put yourself into uncomfortable positions. For me, for years, that was the driving force behind my competitive fitness. It was because every time I stepped out to do a competition, stepped out on that floor, I was so uncomfortable. I actually felt like I wasn't even going to be able to do it. But I did it because it made me uncomfortable. So you've got to think about ways in your daily life you can cause some discomfort. That's how you're going to grow. And that's how you're going to take your life for a valuable short period of time that it really is. So maybe it's just trying something completely new. Maybe you have always been afraid to speak in front of a crowd. Start figuring out how you can speak in front of a crowd. Maybe you're uncomfortable in social settings. Get out and get social and cause yourself some discomfort. Maybe have conversations with people that are really necessary, but you've been avoiding because you don't want to feel uncomfortable having them. Or maybe it's just as simple as talking to a stranger when you're picking up your coffee in the morning or when you're out to lunch. Maybe that isn't comfortable for you. No matter what it is, guys, soul search and figure out how you can cause yourself some discomfort on a daily basis. This leads me to a memory that I had a couple of years ago. Well, it's actually probably been close to 10 years now. My aunt and I were having a conversation about why is it that as time goes on and we've moved further and further away from like catastrophic or hard events in our life, why do we just slip back into that complacency? Right? We learned a hard lesson. We went through something that was really difficult, and then a couple of years go by and we slip into complacency and taking things for granted again. And she had fought a battle with breast cancer and won. Right? And we were having a discussion around the death of my daughter and her overcoming her breast cancer. And her quote to me was like, I almost was happier in my everyday life when I was fighting cancer than I am now. And I know that sounds so crazy. No one would wish for illness in their life. That's not what she meant. What she meant was she was living, it just gives me goosebumps. She was living with 100% appreciation for every day. And she was living purposeful and meaningful because she was afraid that her life was coming to an end. I lived my life with purpose and more intent and more appreciation in the years following my daughter's death than I did 10 years out. So time is supposed to help us heal, right? That's what it does. But what we don't want to happen is allow time to make us complacent and start taking things for granted. So employ those 3 steps. 1, be aware and be present with yourself and others. 2, be grateful and actually stop to acknowledge those gratitudes on a daily basis. And 3, get out and get uncomfortable. So the truth I'm leaving you with today is this. You are not going to live forever. Your life is going to end soon. Not soon as in this week, but we don't know when it's going to end. And even if it is 50, 60 years from now, that's still too soon. So you have a choice every day. Are you going to take it for granted? Or are you going to, in practice, not just in what you talk about, but I mean in practice, through your actions, are you going to act like you're grateful and appreciative and living with urgency, or are you just going to talk about it? So happy you tuned in today. Be sure, for those of you that haven't listened to the episode on facing your mortality and living with urgency, that you be sure to go and listen to that and then come back to this episode, right? And for those of you that have already listened to it, revisit that from time to time and make sure that you're taking these 3 steps every single day. We'll see you next time.